Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Temecula Community Services Commission. It is Monday, May 13th, 6 o'clock p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. First up, we have our flag salute. That will be led by Commissioner Kathy Sizemore, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Kingsburg. Oliver Wendell Holmes said it best: one flag, one land, one heart, one hand. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Isabel, would you call roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Castro,
Here.
Commissioner Audi, Commissioner Sizemore, Vice Chair Hawks,
Here.
Chairperson Kingsburg.
Here.
Okay, so we have all commissioners present with an absence from Gary Audi.
Okay, thank you for that, Isabel. Next up, we have public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight?
Yes, we have a public comment from Chair Richard Scott from the Temecula Sister City Association to share some exchange updates.
All right, welcome, Richard. Good to have you. And when you start, the timer is set to 3 minutes. You're probably aware of that.
So I can stall here. Okay, good evening. My name is Richard Scott, and I'm the chair of Temecula Sister City Association. And I'm here to give you an update on the activities of the Sister City Association and the exchanges we have coming up in the next 9 months that we'll be celebrating 30 years as a Sister City relationship with Dyson, Japan. Temecula, over its entire cityhood, well, not quite, has had two sister cities historically. The first one being Leidschendam-Voorburg, and it is in the Netherlands, and we had 25 years as a sister city partnership with them, and they decided to step away about 5 years ago. So we now have Dyson, which, like I said, we're celebrating the 30th anniversary this, it's today, the 13th of May.
Right.
So anyway, so currently visitors from Dyson came in December. They usually participate in the Christmas parade in the trolley. And they came to plan the first of the exchanges we've had in 5 years. Because of COVID, we've done virtual visits and gift exchanges and things like that to stay connected. But they came in December, and we're planning on May 31st, Isabel, Mayor Stewart, and previous Mayor Schwank are going, along with Kevin Hawkins, to Dyson, Japan, to be participating in the Sister City Exchange. Then in the summer, 6 students and 3 teachers are coming from Dyson to Temecula, and currently we're in the process of searching for potential host families. So, well, you have this handout, I think. Anyway, so we started the search for host families in February. So far, we have 4 families from Temecula that are going to host. And so we still need 2 more host families for students and 2 host families for the adult educators that are coming. So that's the main reason that I'm making my visits this week, to see if you guys if you know anybody that might be interested, if you can refer them to me. My email is on the bottom of the flyer. Well, it was there. And anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you the history. I'm going to show you a couple of time's up. Activity pictures.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scott. We've actually run out of time on the
I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
If anyone needs Mr. Scott's contact information, we can get that to you as well. So don't worry about that. We'll make
Yes.
sure they have it. Yeah.
okay. Well,
Okay, well, thank you for coming, Richard, and sharing that information, and we'll certainly look it over, I'm sure.
Okay, so thank you for your attention, and if you are interested, Isabel can get a hold of me. My email is on the bottom of that flyer, and I hope to hear from you, and I hope to see you at the breakfast that celebrates the exchange, and it will be near the end of July. So you'll be, I'm sure, informed about that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you again for that comment. We will go ahead and move on, and by practice, we will go ahead and move our consent calendar up ahead of the division reports tonight. First, before we hear a presentation, I'd like to go ahead and approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was on April 8th, 2024. So we have a commissioner that's willing to make a motion in that spirit.
I motion it.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Castro, a second by Vice Chair Hawks, and we will now take a voice vote.
Okay, so for the roll call vote, Commissioner Castro,
Aye.
Commissioner Audi, Commissioner Sizemore.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hawks,
Aye.
Chairperson Kingsburg.
Aye.
So even with the absence of Gary Audi, the vote is unanimous and the motion is approved.
All right, very good. So next, we have a presentation. We are going to receive and file a presentation on the proposed capital improvement plan, or otherwise known as the CIP. These are projects for the duration of 2025, 2029, and Mike Wooten is back. Saw him a couple months ago, I believe. Thank you, Mike, for being here, and look forward to hearing what you have to share.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to provide the following updates on the proposed fiscal year 2025 to 29 CIP budget. Let me get this started here. I apologize. Might need a little help here, Jello.
Well, the first slide looks great.
Thank you. You know, he showed me this a couple months ago. You would think I'd remember how to do this, right?
Should be.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so just the arrows.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, all right, we'll start over now. So again, thank you for allowing me a few minutes of your time this evening to go over our CIP budget. So each year, TCSD staff presents the proposed CIP projects to the Community Services Commission for its review. The proposed CIP includes 133 projects totaling just over $927 million for construction or design funding for fiscal years 2025 through 29, of which approximately $629 million is in funding has been secured. And funding for these projects comes from a variety of sources, including development impact fees, QIMBY fees, community development block grant funding, CDBG, and Measure S revenue. So the city recently adopted the Temecula 2040 Quality of Life Master Plan, QLMP, in November of 2022. The QLMP is a living document that reflects the vision and long-term goals of the city and is used to formulate and budget citywide projects and programs. As Temecula continues to grow and mature, the QLMP will be a crucial part of not only maintaining the city's quality of life, but to also take a proactive approach and identify specific community needs, goals, and possible improvements. So general input on the budget was sought from the Community Services Commissioners at the budget engagement session on March 11th, along with the other city commissions. As a result of these sessions and by identifying priorities, a total of 11 new projects have been included in the CIP, which I'll be discussing more in the upcoming slides. These projects were covered in the budget workshop on May 9th and will be brought to City Council for approval along with the proposed 24-25 AOB on May 28th. Okay, so the first project I'll discuss is the Butterfield Stage Road separated bike lanes. So this project will provide separated bike lanes along Butterfield Stage Road from Murrieta Hot Springs to Deep Portola Road to improve bicycle safety and circulation throughout the city as part of the overall Temecula bike loop. Total costs are estimated at $475,000 with design and construction plans over the next 2 fiscal years. The next project is the Empire Creek improvements. So this project repairs and reinforces the earth and berms between the specific park sites and flood control channels and fortifies the banks to prevent further erosion. A report for Friendship Park, Mike Nagar Community Park, and Long Canyon Creek Park was developed in fiscal year 23-24, and Empire Creek, which is behind Nagar Community Park, will be the next project in line. Construction for the site is planned for fiscal years 26-27 at an estimated cost of just under $5.3 million. Up next is the I-15 French Valley Parkway Phase 4, and this project includes the design and construction of the remaining improvements for the French Valley Parkway interchange, including the southbound collector and distributor road system and the braided off-ramps and on-ramps in both directions to address and improve traffic circulation in the city's northern area. Costs for this project are estimated at only $181 million, and it's anticipated that construction will begin in fiscal years 28-29, pending identified funding sources. Next, we have the Library Alternative Energy Operations Center enhancements. So in 2021, the library is designated as the city's alternate emergency operations center. This project will enhance the library's current technology to provide secure, reliable, state-of-the-art equipment for conducting emergency operations, and this project is planned for this upcoming fiscal year at an estimated cost of around $700,000. Sticking with the library, we also have the Library Technology Enhancements Project. So the Ronald H. Roberts Temecula Public Library was opened in 2006 to serve the residents of Temecula and surrounding areas. Since then, the library has become the busiest library in Riverside County and in the Riverside County system and offers advanced technology services to its patrons. This project, which is planned for the next fiscal year at a cost of around $240,000, will replace aging equipment and enhance the library's technology offerings to ensure that the patrons have access to secure, reliable, state-of-the-art facility for many years to come. The Long Canyon Creek Park restrooms. This project includes the design and construction of a new restroom facility at Long Canyon Creek Park that meets current ADA accessibility compliance standards. Currently, it is expected that this project will be completed this next fiscal year at a cost of about $1.3 million. The North General Kearney Street improvements. This project will include the construction of full street improvements from Long Canyon Creek Park to just past the Camino Campos Verdes intersection. Improvement plans include new sidewalk, curb, gutter, ADA ramps, and the relocation of traffic signal poles and crosswalk at Camino Campos Verde. A study to identify and prioritize areas with missing sidewalks was completed as part of the Trails and Bikeways Master Plan update in fiscal years 15-16. Based on that study and available resources, sidewalks will be constructed in the selected areas. Costs for this project are estimated around $1.5 million and is currently planned for completion in fiscal year 25-26. 6th Street improvements, and this project involves improving the south side of 6th Street from Old Town Front Street to Mercedes Street. The improvements include adding sidewalks, rolled curb and gutters, paving, street lights, and trees in accordance with the Old Town specific plan at a cost of around $972,000 and is planned for this upcoming fiscal year. A new project, Southside Senior Center for Active Adults. This project was identified in the city's Quality of Life Master Plan as a future project to better serve the senior community on the south side of Temecula by providing opportunities for seniors to participate in activities and classes. Costs for this project only include the design phase for now, at a cost of around $100,000. All right, and then the Temecula Duck Pond Spillway Project. This project includes the environmental processing, design, and construction of the pond overflow spillway to provide a way to pass floodwater safely through the pond to the channel downstream. Costs are estimated at $200,000, and construction is planned for this upcoming fiscal year. And then the final of the 13 projects is, 11 projects, is the Vail Ranch Park restrooms. And this project includes the addition of a new restroom facility at Vail Ranch Park that meets current ADA standards at a cost of around $1.3 million, with construction planned for this upcoming fiscal year. And that's the last of the projects, and it concludes my presentation. So thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Again, this is something we're going to receive and file, but we do have an opportunity to make comments or ask for clarification on anything. So why don't we start with Commissioner Castro, if you have anything you'd like to share?
I see restrooms are expensive. 1.3 for restrooms is a lot. I had looked at the CIP, and I thought I saw something in there for the bike pass on Temecula Creek, or I can't remember the name of the creek that's behind Temecula Parkway. Is that included in the CIP, or is that?
So there is a Temecula Creek Southside Trail project that is in the CIP. Currently, that's projected for fiscal year 26-27. So yes, it is included in future years.
Okay. Yes. And that's unfunded, I assume?
It doesn't, no, it looks like funding's, oh no, I'm sorry, unspecified still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Sizemore?
Thank you, Mike, for coming out here tonight and sharing this wonderful news with us. I'm just going to say that I am ecstatic to see restrooms coming to Vail Ranch and to Long Canyon Creek. My adult children, who are now old enough to have graduated college and have babies of their own, when they potty trained, they refused to go to those parks any longer because potty yucky, mommy. So I am very, very happy to see that my grandchildren will be able to use restrooms at those parks. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Vice Chair Hawks?
Thank you, Mike. I just want to clarify, for all these 11 projects that have been added, are they approved already?
So none of the budget's been officially approved yet. It's gone through the budget workshop. Final approval will be later this month with our city council. May 28th is the date of that meeting.
Okay, so is that the process? I just try to understand, is that the staff identify projects first, then bring to our commission? Then we give some feedback, then the city council approve?
Sure, and perhaps Director Russo would like to jump in. So typically when we go through a budget process, there's different priorities and things that are brought forward, wish lists, which are then presented to, brought to each of the commissions for some feedback and information. And then the budget workshop is where it's a proposed document. Both the AOB and the CIP are proposed documents at this point. That's really where they're presented to the council and the public at that time. And then any changes that need to be made would be identified at that time for the upcoming council meeting where they approve it. So it is the typical way. We have the proposed, and then even once it's say it's approved, then we have the adopted before it becomes the actual document as well. So the standard time frame that we do that.
Thanks, Mike. Also, if you remember, Director of Finance Jennifer Hennessy came to the commission before, and that was when she goes to each of the boards and commissions and asks for their input on anything relating to the budget. And then you did that, the survey online as well. So all of that input is taken and put into the budget. Most of the projects in the CIP are rolled over from previous years. Mike was just highlighting the new ones that are being added for the next 5-year CIP cycle.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great information. Thank you for sharing. And as Chair Russo suggested, it's kind of neat to see our feedback, recent feedback last few months ago, kind of connected to this, that we were able to give good input on this, and some of those things have appeared. So I'll definitely, on a personal level, be benefiting from the Butterfield Stage bike lanes, because that's a route I like to take. I've had to reroute things a little bit with Nicholas, all the work being done, but down the line, that's just going to tie that all together even more. And then neat to see the library, getting some love and continuing to be the beacon of learning, and again, being a community center perhaps in a time of need or emergency as well, and updating that technology. And taking a lesson, as Commissioner Castro said, on the Costa Park restrooms. I think we see that 1.3 million there a couple of times, so we know those aren't cheap, because I know that's something that came up initially when we learned about the new pickleball center, that, the restrooms, that may be another phase, down the line due to those costs. So anyway, thank you very much. This is great information for us to have moving ahead.
Pleasure, thank you.
All right, so we will now go on to our division reports. And first up, we're going to hear about our contract classes, some other things. And Lisa Linton is here. Good to see you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you good? Okay. So, aquatics is gearing up for summer, kicking everything off with water safety events, emphasizing the importance of swim lessons and drowning prevention. They also welcomed a new team member this last month. Her name is Mary Welton. She comes to us from the city of Orange and brings about 13 years of recreation and aquatic experience to us. So if you see her out there, make sure you say hello. Last month, the team members reviewed in-water rescue skills, and the lead guards did some leadership-specific training on in-water skills as well. And then our contract classes team is winding down with the winter-spring season. We held 369 classes with over 7,000 participants last month. We also hosted with the special events team our Community Services Expo, launching our new colorful summer-fall activity guide, and then had the opportunity to meet all of our amazing instructors, see performances with our actual class participants, and then each of the divisions in TCSD were also there that could showcase all of their amazing things in preparation for the summer. Our spring break camps also wrapped up with 51 sports, cooking, and art camps held throughout the community, and more than 800 participants attended those. And then the CRC is also gearing up for summer day camp at the CRC. They also participated in the Community Services Expo, providing all kinds of information on their programs and events. The Teen Zone had 730 membership scans and was busy playing games, cooking, and crafting. The teens participated in their very own community garden, growing fresh tomatoes and strawberries and providing a little beauty to the CRC. Our homeless outreach team completed 10 street exits, bringing them to 62 for the year so far. And SWAG continues to be a great partner, connecting clients with resources, treatment, and temporary housing. The Homeless Outreach, SWAG, and Sheriff Corps team attended their monthly collaboration meeting with the Community Mission of Hope, discussing consistent coverage of their hotspots within the community. And Ronald H. Roberts had more than 20,000 visitors participating in AuthorFest, Poetry Night, Book Club, Story Time, and our solar eclipse. They celebrated Library Week last month, and this month they did free comic books earlier. The Welcome Center welcomed 423 walking guests during the month of April. They have a really fun little map in there if you haven't been in, and they use pins to have everybody kind of locate where they're coming from. So if you haven't been in, stop in and check that out. And then they had 3,000 patrons attend events through the community at the conference center here, Temecula Library, TCC, CRC, and the picnic shelters. And then sports continues to be at capacity for field and rink rentals. Youth soccer and adult softball, kickball, and basketball are all in mid-season. And then the youth baseball and softballs are completing their seasons and heading into all-stars. Baseball tournaments fill the weekends for May with both youth baseball and softball, in addition to the senior softball teams. And then parks, in coordination with special events team, celebrated Earth and Arbor Day, planting a new tree at Sam Hicks Park. And the Remembrance Tree program planted 6 new trees, and then 3 of the existing trees were adopted. And then special events is in the thick of it as well, executing several events like Earth and Arbor Day, Community Services Expo, and of course the wildly popular Temecula Rod Run. Each event was well attended. Expo saw 3,000 guests throughout the event, and this year was one of the busiest in a while for Temecula Rod Run with 50,000 guests throughout the event. And then coming up, they have Culture Fest, I believe that's this weekend, and then the sold-out Tribute to Heroes Memorial Day concert, and this year that is at the Temecula Theater. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, well, thank you so much. Great information. We'll give commissioners a chance to ask any questions or make comments, and we'll start with Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Commissioner Kingsburg. And thank you, Lisa, for being here with us tonight. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I appreciate the report that you presented to us. My only comments is we talked about the library. I wanted to share something I found out on our digital library. Around a year ago, the California State Library provided funding that through our public library card, we were able to get a subscription through October 2024 to Skillshare, which is online classes. I know I was kind of curious to see if there was anything that extended that. And so I went and I checked out the Riverside County Public Library website, and I found out, the Skillshare has not been renewed, but using our library card, we can log into LinkedIn Learning and take LinkedIn Learning classes free of charge. So I thought that was interesting to be able to share. I think that's an invaluable resource to our residents to continue building skills. They have classes in all kinds of things, from social media to photography to Adobe Photoshop, leadership classes. So I was really excited to see that we have that available to us. And the Welcome Center, we have a family member coming next month, and we will make sure to bring her by so she can put her pin in that map. So if there's a pin in Colorado Springs, please go ahead and remove it so that Grandma can feel special. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Let's go to Commissioner Castro.
Thank you for the report. The Community Services Expo, I believe the basketball game was rigged because I could not make any baskets. No, I live in Somers Bend, and I wanted to compliment you guys on how well you guys run that park. You were mentioning all the sports, and last Saturday I walked by, and both baseball fields, both soccer fields, both basketball courts, there was a moon bounce up on the grass, and you know, there was a couple picnics going on, and all on one day. But that park is always meticulously taken care of. Every time I walk through there, it's very well taken care of. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I will be sure to share that with James, who occupies the office out there,
Yeah.
obviously, and Stacy Fox, who handles all of our park maintenance.
Yeah.
I know they'll appreciate the feedback.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Castro. Vice Chair Hawks.
Thank you, Lisa. Welcome back. And I just want to make some comments that I'm really glad to see all the classes, the sporting events, and spring camps are going really strong, so good job. And also I shared with you earlier before the meeting that I'm really excited to see some new activities added to our brochure for this spring and summer and fall, right? Yeah, like the teens excursion and some other ones I noticed, so it's really great to see a variety of activities being added. But now it posed a question that I'm wondering about that boat race. I didn't see that.
The build your own boat yes, that will, unfortunately, that will not be coming back right now. That is, it was too much demand, and yeah, we weren't able to
Okay.
accommodate everybody who wanted to be there.
I will wait patiently for that.
Well, Commissioner Sizemore waited how many years for bathrooms at Vail Ranch Park?
Okay, so to sum it up, again, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate all the information. And I was able to get over to the Community Services Expo as well for the first chunk of it. I recall the weather being a really nice day. It looked like good turnout, and the numbers reflect that. I guess I'm kind of, the model makes sense. I mean, the idea that you guys hold that and then sign up start for the coming months, like the next Monday, which motivated me to sign up for a June class pretty quickly, because I want to get in and get. So I'm kind of curious, how was the wave of signups from what you might expect, or was there a wave?
Well, yeah, registration opened Monday, April 29th, the following Monday after the expo. Obviously, all of the summer camp, all-day summer camp options went very quickly. And then everything else is filling in nicely. Pickleball was, of course, full by the end of the day. But yeah, everything's kind of filling in really, really nicely. We have lots of new summer camp opportunities that are not all day. And then we also brought in a new dance instructor, and her classes are looking like they're going to be just as adorable as we hoped.
Okay, and will the Margarita Recreation Center be utilized for that yet, for dance?
Some of the dance will be at MRC.
Okay.
And some will be also at the JRC. We're going to do some of our more teen-focused dance classes over there. And then we're going to have our little baby tappers at the Old Town Temecula Theater in the mornings over there.
Okay, great, thank you. So yeah, the other event I was able to attend that was shown there, and I guess I got a photo op out of it. I didn't even know. I was planting a tree. That was great. I do recall that. Commissioner Castro had pushed in front of me. No, he didn't. He didn't. That was actually a different commissioner from another commission. But that's all good. I was going to say that, yeah, we were actually both over there, Commissioner Castro and I, on that Saturday morning, and enjoyed being there, and there were good representation there from the city. It was a fairly quiet event. I mean, it started early, which worked out well. It was good weather for tree planting. And there were a few booths and exhibits, that kind of thing, but I didn't know from a department perspective, have you guys evaluated that event? Do we feel like that event is where we want it to be, or could there be changes?
We would love to have more participation in that. Earth and Arbor Day, I think, are never, at the top of a lot of people's minds in terms of events, in the same way that like Halloween is, where it just sort of effortlessly promotes itself. So, but we're more than open to suggestions as to how we might increase attendance or interest in that event. We certainly like it, and we're happy particularly to support the city's initiative and Stacy's efforts to, maintaining our status as Tree City USA and continuing to expand our urban forestry initiative. So we're fans, but it's not a big seller for the rest of the community, unfortunately.
Makes sense. Thank you for that perspective. Okay, so that concludes the first report, and now we have Katrina Thorson, who is going to share some info on arts and culture.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners, and I will be presenting the second half of the division reports this evening. And starting off with the Temecula Valley Museum, the exhibit for April was the Temecula Valley Unified School District Art Show, which showcased the talents of many middle and high school students throughout the school district. The exhibit provided the opportunity to showcase their artwork, and also an artist reception was held for the students at the museum. And continuing along the lines of museum and student programming, the museum had an annual history contest, and the winners have been announced. And thank you to our judges, Chair Kingsburg and Commissioner Castro and Commissioner Audi, participated as judges for this program. The winners included a third grade student from Alamos Elementary School and who took first place, and second and third place students were winners from the Chamaquilowish Pachanga School, and awards were given out at their Pachanga Family History Day. And also showcased on this slide are the 2 monthly programs that happen over at the Temecula Valley Museum, Culture Days and Out of the Archives. Culture Days this past month featured Saudi Arabia, where guests learned about culture through recipes, arts, crafts, and an art lesson by Bigfoot art classes. And there was even a live camel who made an appearance, and you see pictured there. And in honor of baseball season being in full swing, the Out of the Archives for April featured special guests from the Temecula Deer Brothers Vintage Baseball Club, and the guests were able to learn about history of baseball in Temecula Valley from some archive materials and from members of the baseball team. This event was surely a home run. Also, at the Temecula Valley Museum, in honor of Arab American History Month, the new Temecula Art Mural Project unveiled a mural entitled Arab Cityscape, and this was created by students of Bigfoot Graphics. Okay, and moving on to arts and culture, the monthly event Art Nights was held at the Merc, and Eric Edison was the featured artist this month with his pieces entitled Cave Paintings. There was a reception held for Eric at the Merc with live entertainment and refreshments. And art gallery showcases are also available at select city facilities and rotate throughout the year. And more exciting news and exhibits at the Temecula Valley Museum are the new exhibit now on display, Newest Americans. And the next art mural will be unveiled this week in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month and was created by Great Oak High School students. The next Temecula Culture Day will be held this weekend in conjunction with Temecula Culture Fest and will feature Japan in celebration of our 30th anniversary of sisterhood with Dyson Japan. And finally, the May Out of the Archives will be held on the 26th. It's showtime at the Merc, that is. The Merc continued the regular programming of the Merc series with stand-up comedy, classics, country, jazz, speakeasy, and Brazilian Latin jazz. The Merc hosted a total of 491 patrons throughout the 13 performances. On the main stage at the Temecula Theater, resident companies stole the show. The Temecula Valley Players performed The Music Man through April 5th through the 21st. And rounding out the month was the State Street Ballet from our Temecula Presents dance company in the dance series. The State Street Ballet also held a master dance class, which was open up to the public, and it was held at the Temecula Community Theater. And the theater hosted a total of 3,969 patrons in April. Next up is community outreach and media relations. Our team continues to spread the word about all of Temecula Community Services programs and events and services. For social media this past month, we created 6 reels with 65,797 views, 30 stories with almost 18,000 views, and created 17 posts with a 72,000 reach. In addition to our social media marketing efforts, we continue to utilize all forms of marketing through e-blasts, press releases, posters, flyers, and outreach booths. Some updates from the team include a new episode of Park Adventures. Episode 29 will be released this week, featuring Temecula Creek Trail Park, and episode 30 will feature Harveston Lake and Community Parks, which has been filmed and will be released in the next few weeks. Also, a quick update on the Veterans Brochure. It has entered the final phase and will be ready to print later this week. And it'll be available at the Memorial Day concert at the end of May and online for viewing. And finally, some exciting news that I get the privilege of sharing with you is that we were contacted by the National Parks and Recreation Association via Instagram, and this is a national nonprofit group, and they were collaborating with a few cities for the month of July, which is the National Parks and Rec Month. And they loved our content and wanted to collaborate with us for the month. And we met with them last week, and we'll be sending over some videos for them to choose. And it's a very exciting opportunity to be recognized as by this national organization, and we're the only city in California that they have contacted. So keep out for those videos in July. And if you don't already follow, they're at NRPA which I know you guys all follow at Temecula Parks and Rec by now, but just had to plug in NRPA as well. Okay, and inclusive services, the Youth Advisory Council assisted Mary Phillips Senior Center Community Garden Community Cleanup in honor of Earth Day. Participated in service animal training with canine companions, volunteered at the MRC Open House and Inclusive Social Skills Program, and High Hopes had a sock hop event at the MRC. A special Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month Inclusive Social Skills Program was held for participants to enjoy sensory stations, decorate puzzle pieces, play various sports games, and have free snow cone from Kona Ice. And on April 20th, there was another inclusive skill program at Eagle Soar Playground in partnership with Disability Sports Foundation and Skyrocket Pediatric Therapy Foundation. Continuing on with Global Citizens Horticulture and Viticulture Program, they had a field excursion to Spiro Winery Vineyards and met with some experienced professionals in the wine industry. The April Inclusive Visual Arts Program explored watercolors, learned about artist Thomas Cole, and are working on their next project, Art Cardinal. The SKIP program, children made personal pizzas, salads, berry yogurt, dessert at the cooking and baking activity in April. And finally, there was a little lending library with contributions from the public and friends of the Temecula Libraries. In senior services, spring has sprung and seniors are enjoying the intergenerational community garden. Seniors learned about garden safety and assisted with weeding and planting seeds and made some decorations to liven up the garden there. The Silver Shuttle operated on Mondays, April 1st and 15th, and visited some local stores and restaurants in Temecula. The senior talk for the month was about courageous conversations and was hosted by Dr. Cochran from Hospice of the Valleys. And the popular senior excursion program returned for a trip to the Carlsbad flower fields. They enjoyed the vibrant flowers, and the other amenities and fun wagon rides that they offered there. And the monthly senior center event was Spring Bonnet Luncheon, which included a choir performance, appetizers, and coffee treats. And in workforce development, the Youth Innovators Program had 3 meetings in April, and these students helped facilitate the youth programs, including Leadership Academy, Junior STEM, Youth Entrepreneurs, and Rocktober. And another program from the workforce development was their internship and fellowship program, where high school graduates, undergrads, or graduate college students who are looking to gain experience working for a government can get an internship. And we had 17 interns throughout several departments within the city. And that concludes the second half, and I am happy to help answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Thank you, Katrina. Boy, what an array of things we have going on. Every month, I love hearing about all this stuff. It's just amazing. Why don't we start with Vice Chair Hawks on this one?
Thank you, Katrina. Congratulations for that. You're being contacted by NRPA, so I hope that Temecula will be selected. I'm rooting for you. And regarding the integrated garden, where is that located for the seniors?
That is right behind the Temecula Valley Museum and the Senior Center.
Okay.
It is a lot right behind the new shuffleboards. Yeah,
Okay,
shuffleboard courts, yes.
looks good. And the last one is about the junior STEM attendance. I didn't see any. Do you know anything about attendance? Are they improving?
Lisa will be able to look it up because we are doing something a little different where they have to pay a nominal fee to get on the roster.
And also, I'm thinking about the Arbor Day because it looks like you also promoted through social media Earth Day and Arbor Day. I'm thinking if you can give out some little seed sample or seedling, might promote some interest.
That's a good idea. We work with Vlada, and she does a seed bank at the library, so maybe we could work with her to do something similar at Earth and Arbor Day. I like that. Thank you.
Commissioner Castro?
Oh, my thing Thank you for the report and congratulations on the recognition. That's a great achievement. I was at the last mural unveiling, and it's always great to see the artists, how excited they are to be recognized and get the opportunity to show off their work. But that's all I've got. Thank you.
Commissioner Sizemore?
Thank you. Thank you for being with us tonight, Katrina. An awesome report. There are so many great things going on in Temecula. I am looking forward to, well, my mother-in-law is coming in June, so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm so excited that I forgot there's so many things in Temecula that I can occupy her time with while she's here. So I'm going to make my calendar, and can they stay at the senior center all day? Okay. Does she have to be a resident? Can I just?
No, she doesn't have to be a resident.
I can just drop her off there.
She has to just fill out the little membership form where she basically provides contact information and so forth, but they would be happy to have her.
Oh, you say that now. Okay, thank you. I will go ahead and make plans for that. And I do want to congratulate Katrina and the staff on your collaboration that you're going to have with the NRPA. I'm looking forward to July with National Parks and Rec Month and seeing what you guys collaborate on and come up with. It'll be exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sizemore. Yeah, I'll echo that. Great job. It just shows the quality of your guys' work and the fact that an agency like that would want to utilize our talent here is great. As I suggested, everything from the art to the stuff at the Merc to the community theater, love to see all that rich arts and culture. And I wanted to say I did enjoy the photo, Superintendent Barnett, of you at the flower fields in Carlsbad, and you mentioned to me you were on that trip and looked like you were having a great time, and the participants did as well. So
I have to say, I love to spend time with the seniors when we're riding up. I get to know each one better, and staff also. It's great to see them in action. And, I am attending also for the first time, and I was speechless. So I encourage anybody that can make it out there to experience the flower fields. It's a sea of beauty and vibrant color. It's basically like stepping into a Monet or Manet or Renoir painting. It's a big impression. You could definitely have a life-changing experience there. And they do a lot of activities for students, for seniors, they have weddings there, so it's just gorgeous. It's a limited time frame, and in my 58 years, my first visit, and I'm intending to go back again. So it's a nice day trip, safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Max takes care of us. The staff is impeccable. And the seniors are very active. They're, on their own, traveling about, and we all had lunch. And then the Carlsbad outlets were there, so we're providing, economic development for them. So it's a wonderful excursion, and I encourage you to attend anyone that you are able to get a seat on, because they sell out pretty quickly, too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So a few of those things that were mentioned, I was able to attend the senior luncheon in April, and you've heard me say this before about the collaboration with the school district. I really liked that, and I saw that the TVSD art exhibit was considered a new exhibit, how it was done this year, and I know when I went that night and I got to see several teachers and staff that I had worked with not too many years ago. And they seem to really be pleased to be here at the city and to be able to bring their, meet their kids here and display that work. So I think that's really neat. Great to see that happening. And again, ditto to what you said, Commissioner Castro, about the mural unveil. Those are just nice events. It's nice to commemorate the changing of the mural, if you will, the changing of the guard, the changing of the mural. I know we have one coming up this week, and I look forward to that again. I did have one question, trying to learn a little bit more about I know it's been mentioned before, but the Global Citizens in Horticulture and Viticulture program. I guess my curiosity is, how often do these folks meet? Where do they meet? I know it's sort of a job potentially a job training program. But just curious if I wanted to drop by.
Oh, it's definitely. During the summer, they're a lot more active out in the field, but they do meet at the senior center. It's adult special needs. They do also end up with their food handler's permit, resume writing, and other, skill building sessions, interviewing techniques and so forth, because some of our students have then gone on to find employment in those fields, at wineries, at restaurants, and they do meet weekly at the senior center in classes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they are going to be moving over to the MRC as well.
All right.
So initially, it's been going on for several years, and many of the graduates have then come back and actually worked. I know Vanessa, who works at the senior center, she's a graduate of that program as well.
All right. Well, thank you for that information. That's great. Okay, so that concludes that item. We now, I believe, have a director's report. Director Russo.
Good evening, everyone. So as you know, we're heading into summer, and summer is the busiest season for TCSD. Just to give some frame of reference, when Lisa was presenting about registration and how well, the expo was fantastic, and I really thank everyone who attended that. When registration opened, our summer day camp program for one of the age groups sold out all available slots in 2 minutes, and it was sold out entirely in 5 minutes. So the demand for our programs is so high, and in some cases we just can't even begin to accommodate, all of that demand, or even we can't even, to say we can't accommodate is just beyond any descriptor. And in some cases, like in that case for our community, what that really shows is working parents are desperate for something to do with their kids during the summer. And our program is extremely high quality. We do excursions, we have a ton of events and activities, and it's just a fantastic program. And we actually charge less than what Boys and Girls Club charges for their summer program, and they don't do any excursions or many of the activities that we do. So several things to think about there. One is we highly subsidize our programs, and next year we are probably going to be looking at doing a fee study for TCSD. So we would go through and look at all of our fees that we charge, all of our activity fees, anything we charge money for, rental fees, field space, and benchmarking it against what other communities charge and just kind of deciding, should we be charging more or less? The law is that as a public agency, we can't charge more than cost recovery. So if it costs us $100 to have one kid go through summer day camp, we cannot charge more than $100. But when we look at those costs that go into any program or any field rental, you are factoring in the cost of maintaining the building or field or space, the cost of staffing it, the cost of cleaning up afterwards, any credentials that need to be acquired, any materials. So none of our programs in TCSD operate at cost recovery. But when you see the budget presentation this year and you see that the proportion of Measure S going to cover TCSD's operating expenses continues to grow and grow and grow over the next 5 years, and we get to the point where community services is actually taking up the majority of Measure S, there is really going to be a push for us to be a little more maybe considered in terms of our fee setting. And we still want our fees to be accessible, and there are a number of ways we are looking at maybe doing scholarship programs or fee waivers for people who are in need, but also looking at what should our cost recovery point be, and what should we be charging for these programs. So that'll be coming up next year, but just to give you sort of a frame of reference for why that's coming up between the budget and then looking at how much demand there is for many of our programs, and field rentals, tremendous demand for field rentals. For many of our programs, we have to put a priority on resident registration so that residents can either, sometimes they have like a protected registration window for our swim lessons. They get a day to register before non-residents can register. For summer day camp, we didn't even advertise the program this year in our brochure, and it still filled up in 5 minutes, and that was all residents. So yeah, we do a ton in this city, and there's a huge amount of demand for it, and we will be looking a little more analytically at what we charge for these things next year. Aside from that, let's see, May is many things. May is National Asian American and Native Hawaiian Islander Heritage Month. It is Jewish American Heritage Month, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we don't have any official events planned specifically for any of those things, but as you know, we really try to support the city's efforts to recognize these months. And particularly Mental Health Awareness Month, I think, is becoming really important and increasingly something that we talk about openly. I think prior to COVID, there was maybe a lot more stigma around issues such as mental health, and one of the potentially good question mark things that came out of the pandemic was that while a lot of people suffered and experienced mental health issues exacerbated by the shutdown and the pandemic, it also made us more willing to talk about that. So with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I firmly believe a lot of what we do in community services supports the community's mental health through creating community, creating connections, like as Bea was just mentioning, her experiences going on the senior center trips, creating opportunities for people to form social bonds. It's very protective for mental health. Outdoor recreation is very supportive of mental health. Cultural awareness. I firmly believe cultural experiences, art, everything we do in community services, I believe supports the community's mental health. So that concludes my report.
Oh, thank you for sharing all that. That was all very interesting. I read something today, and it was one of the magazines I was looking at, but it was speaking about the benefits of team sports, or team activities is the way I took it. Not just necessarily highly competitive, structured athletics per se, but again, I'll reference back to pickleball because that's kind of my reference point recently with the city. That the group that I was playing with the last couple of months, I'm not in it this month, but on Monday nights, some of those people are regulars and they come out and you get to play with them, week after week, and you get to know them a little bit, and they know you and you know them, and it's just that interaction. That working together or doing things together. And so that's really what our department promotes. And then the other thing I thought of with the mental health awareness, I believe it was stated in the presentation too, the mural is all about mental health awareness.
Yes,
so there is some
it is. Mm-hmm.
very timely on your part.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to, this is the first year where we've been able to try and coincide the murals with the proclamation months. It's challenging because some months have multiple proclamations, and we sort of have to choose each year which one we're going to do, and that invariably upsets some people. And we're also trying to look forward to next year and try to do some additional planning. Since most of our events are planned so far in advance, and we already have a full calendar of events, we don't really have a lot of bandwidth to be adding new events. But Culture Fest, which is coming up, is a great opportunity for us to sort of, I don't want to say one-stop shop, but it gives us a great opportunity to kind of recognize everyone's cultures, which is a lot of fun. Really quickly, I wanted to turn it over to Lisa, who looked up the information for Vice Chair Hawks regarding the STEM program participation.
Yeah, it looks like the most recent one was almost full. They had about 26 kids registered for the program, and it maxed out at 30. And then the summer ones, it'll return September, October, and November in the fall. And each of them have some enrollment, but there's plenty of room. They increase their maximum to 40 for the fall, and they're not even halfway there yet. So we've still got plenty of time, though.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Lisa. So we are going to go to commissioner reports, and just before we do, I wanted to preface that with just a brief comment, hopefully. You're not required to or anything, but if you are willing to give any feedback on the shared calendar that I think it was 3 meetings ago that we've worked on implementing. I know, and I want to thank Isabel, she had sent out I think going into May, she had sent out some information, just kind of, hey, here's some of the events coming up, and we know we're in busy time here, right? We know there's a lot going on, and it's hard to get to things at times. But with that, she also sent out a link to the calendar, which is very convenient for some of us technologically challenged people who have trouble finding items and documents and don't use bookmarks very well or whatever the term is for that sort of thing. So I'll probably comment a little bit on it, but if you'd like to comment on it, and it just gives us kind of a progress as to how things are going and if it's something you've been able to utilize or not. And if you'd like to throw that in your report, great. If not, that's okay too. So with that, Commissioner Castro, without further ado.
Thank you. I wanted to piggyback on your comments. But this is also National Bike Month, and there'll be a proclamation tomorrow at the City Council. They're also going to recognize a charity called Caught With Your Helmet On, which is a positive reinforcement program for getting kids to wear helmets, where Angeline Fowler has gone out and gotten coupons from local ice cream, pizza places, different places, and giving them to first responders. And when they see a kid with a helmet on, they give them a gift certificate so that they're caught with their helmet on and recognized. And she's done a great job with the program. It's now spread to Marietta and San Jacinto. So it's a growing program, and they're going to recognize her tomorrow at the City Council meeting. I also wanted to piggyback on your comments about Measure S. I don't think people in the city realize how big an impact that's had on the city and what it brings to the city and the quality of life. And even having these classes in the summer, every time I talk to people in our community, they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my kid during the summer. It's too expensive to do this or that. So that's a huge program for the city. And I know there's always a lot of pushback for new taxes, but I think how they've structured that, where most of it's coming from tourists, and then how it's used and the impact is amazing, and probably something that should be more promoted and advertised by the city, the Proposition S, or Measure S. As far as the calendar, I haven't been using it, but because I can't find the link. Also, when I first used it, it wasn't very intuitive because it's not a standard calendar like an Outlook calendar. I think it's an Excel spreadsheet. So to me, it wasn't super intuitive on how to easily use it. I had to kind of finagle with it, so I haven't been using it, but that's more a me issue than a calendar issue.
And we can look to make improvements, so thank you for the feedback on that.
You're welcome. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for all that, Commissioner Castro. Appreciate it. Let's go to Commissioners. Oh, yeah, please.
I forgot my most important thing. I was looking at all the events we had this past month, and I wanted to thank you guys for how well everything was done. I was at the Rod Run, and that's not really my shtick, but I was impressed at how big of an event was, how well organized and how well run it was, and how much fun people seemed, and how much people seemed to enjoy being there. So you should give yourself a pat on the back for running a great event.
Thank you. And I really have to give a shout out to Dawn Adamiak and Tracy Tominez on that one specifically. They both worked 27 and a half hours over the course of 2 days for that event. Wow. Between Friday and Saturday. They both logged 27 and a half hours. So, I mean, the magnitude of the work that goes into an event of that scale is just mind-boggling, in addition to virtually every member of community services working at some point at that, as well as public works, IT, code enforcement, our core team. It's a huge event. 50,000 people come here. They spend money, and we get Measure S, which is great. You know, that's fantastic. And I know a lot of people have fun, and it's really a signature event for the city. And it is an enormous lift. So thank you for recognizing that. I appreciate that.
And I got a really cool sticker.
Glad you got a freebie there, Mr. Castro. Good job. Let's go to Commissioner Sizemore, please.
Thank you. I'll start first with the calendar. I did save it to my G drive, so I will go ahead and I was actually thinking about that this afternoon. I've been very intentionally missing events the past month and a half. I have my son graduated from college last week. I think it was last week, in Salt Lake City at the University of Utah. So he graduated. He's deciding to stay in Utah, so we're helping him, find a place out there, helping him with finding a job. So life's been very busy. I also have a senior in high school who will be graduating in a couple of weeks. And I've just felt it on my heart that, I need to finish this race strong. So I've just been focusing my attention on being there for all those events and helping our youngest son now. Fortunately, he's going to the same college, University of Utah. So we're pros at it. We know housing, we know, so we've been helping him with all those decisions. But I did catch myself sitting, okay, one son down, one son to go. I have some time. I need to check out that calendar because I was like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, I know there's stuff I should be signing up for. So I will be going home and taking a look at that calendar because as I was sitting here this afternoon thinking, I don't know what's happening, I realized, oh yeah, I can go to that one spot. So it's nice that we have that one spot to go to. So thank you. I will take advantage of that here in the next day or two and sign up for some events. I did want to mention, just in our reports, like I said, I did get to go spend some time in Salt Lake City. And I think it's always neat to go to other cities and see how they compare to our city. How's their infrastructure? How do they do things? We noticed a lot of mixed use because you had residential houses next door to businesses, next door to big shopping centers. So it was a very interesting community, but the thing that I've noticed the most was the art. I love art. I loved the public art. Noticed some mural boxes, art mural boxes, utility boxes like we have in Old Town, and also noticed a lot more private businesses that I don't know if the city collaborates with their businesses, but just murals on the side of business buildings, murals nestled on apartment complexes, nestled in little neighborhoods. And I really, I enjoy that. It helps you learn a lot about a community. We did one hike. We went to a shopping center in an area called Sugar House, and my son goes, oh, let's go for a walk. Let's go to the shopping center. I'm like, shopping center? That's not what I meant for a walk. Well, nestled into the shopping center was a full trail. I mean, we had cyclists. It was running alongside a creek, some renovated areas where they had converted things to apartment complexes. But it was a wonderful hike, and what I noticed on this hike, of course, there were placards kind of going over the history. We kind of walked past those. I saw statues. I thought it was a strawberry, statues of strawberries. It was the art that drew us in, and we're like, why is there a statue of a strawberry on this hiking trail? Well, no, it wasn't a strawberry. We were in an area called Sugar House. It was a sugar beet. That drew us into, oh, sugar beets, and learning the history of how this area had been where they would grow sugar beets, and the sugar beets were brought in, and it was a sugar mill, therefore Sugar House. And it just reminded me of, we have such a rich history here in Temecula, and I'd love to see us continue to use the arts as a way to relay that history to our residents and people that visit our community. So, thank you.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Hawks, Vice Chair Hawks, I should say.
Thank you, Chair. And I did use the calendar, and I like it. I sign up for things, and I can plan in advance. So one thing maybe I want to suggest, maybe Isabel, is if every time you added something, maybe you can send the link put in the email. Sometimes also I have to go back to the original email to find the link.
Sure, yeah, I can definitely send that out.
Yeah, and I like it because then I will know who other commissioners are going, so it's good to know how well we're represented.
I wonder if that's something we could do through Teams. I know there had been some discussion of getting each of our commissioners.
I hate Teams. Teams hates me.
Oh, okay. Scratch that.
It's been scratched.
Yeah, no. So the calendar, yes. Now move on, because last month I'm very busy. I was very busy competing in speech contest. And this is the first trophy I want to show you. So that's the division contest about 3 weeks ago. I won that one. And then this is from last weekend. I couldn't go to Rot Run. I wanted to go, but I was competing and I tasted the traffic from Rock Run. It took me longer to get to my destination, but, so this is my last one from the district trophy. Yes. So that's what I've been doing the last month. So now I'm waiting for the results, so I'll be able to, hopefully, but I lost my voice for 3 weeks to go. But I did sign up to go to the concert. So especially this time is in the Old Town. I want to see how that compares. In the past, I feel like, especially when the weather is really windy, it affects the sound. So I want to see, I look forward to the concert, the Memorial Day concert being in the Old Town Theater.
All right, well, thank you, Vice Chair Hawks, and congratulations on your success out there in the community at your various speech contests. That's quite impressive. And I appreciated your comments, Commissioner Sizemore, related to going into a city and, you know, looking at that city and you know, their infrastructure and their resources and their art. And yeah, it's just fascinating to go to various cities and you know, look at that and kind of compare and contrast.
Can I share one thing, Commissioner?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I thought of, you know, I oftentimes have residents, I don't know if you've heard this in comments people have made to you, they always tell me, I wish we had a park that was just open space to go see nature. And I never quite grasped, what is it they want? In Salt Lake City, I saw it. They had a park, several parks that were just big, like block-long parks that, you know, there was a playground there, but there was also like a creek and nature. So that's a neat thing about going to another city too, is getting to see their parks. You know, and I'm glad that I saw that because it helped me really visualize what I've heard residents ask for. I'm sorry.
Okay, so one thing I did this past month, and it was actually something, Commissioner Sizemore, you had suggested a while back. I met with Tracy Frick, Community Services Manager, about potential plans to renovate and or expand the Temecula Valley Museum. And so it was very enlightening for her to share a bit of the history of everything and various potential plans that are in the works. And I guess there's a plan A that would potentially flip the upstairs and the downstairs. And the city, I understand, is seeking a grant to secure those monies. And then there's also some other designs and some really grand plans that would really expand the museum. You know, perhaps have larger art rooms and natural history rooms and even a cafe. And of course, that plan B comes into some serious, you know, budget and funding challenges. But it was just reassuring it was good to get the information. It was also reassuring that there are folks out there, Tracy and others, I think probably in this room here too, that are thinking big and would like to see big at some point, you know, in time. So I think we have a great mechanism for art. This city gets a lot of respect, and I don't want to birdwalk too much here, but I just returned this afternoon from 9 days in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And I was on most of that actually was a group tour with people all across the country. And it was interesting meeting people from New Jersey, meeting people from New York and Florida who you say you're from San Diego, but, you know, north of San Diego, we say Temecula, there are people who know Temecula. And not only that, they've been to Temecula, they like Temecula. And if they can snowbird it out here to this area or this region, Southern California, they will do so, and they will come spend time here. So, I mean, we are definitely on the map. So anyway, I just think everyone wants to see, us continue to grow and have the facilities that we need to showcase what we're doing. But I know I think there's a lot of interest there. So I want to mention that. I also want to give a shout out. I don't think he's expecting it, but Commissioner Castro, I want to give you a shout out. I know our schedules prevent us in periods of our life from being at things, and that was shared tonight, and I get that as well. I've been in that boat for sure. But I know the stuff I show up to, you are there early and you are there often. So I've seen you at a lot of things. And it's been, I know you also have taken on a leadership role, an enhanced leadership role with Bike Temecula Valley recently. And so you are working for another very important related community nonprofit, where you're actually volunteering, you're not working. So I know you've taken on more and somehow you've managed to be at all these things, so I want to give you a shout out for that. And then finally, just in relation to the calendar, I appreciate everyone's comments. The goal again is just to provide communication and collaboration. I think it was a good short conversation night. We gave Isabel some feedback. It could be something we come back to in 3 or 4 months. Just check in on how it's going. My concept with it was to, I know I mentioned this a few months back, was to, especially on multi-hour events, like the Community Services Expo. Let's just say 3 of us were attending. Rather than all of us being there from 10 to 11, it would be nice to have, ideally, I guess in a perfect world, to have people there spread out throughout the morning. And so I realize now for the Culture Fest, and I believe the city clerk's office is involved in helping orchestrate that. They sort of stole my thunder a little bit in that we have time frames. Those of us who are able to attend that day have time frames that we have signed up for, along with the other commissions, have representatives there. And the idea is to, again, have a cadre, it looked like somewhere between 3 to 5 of commissioners available to speak with the public during that time. So again, that model, this sort of dovetails into that model for some of our more smaller events. And as Commissioner Hawk said, it gives a chance to kind of say, okay, who's going? Do we have someone there? Okay, we have 2 people. Well, hey, I'm kind of busy. Maybe I'll skip that one and I'll pick up something else. So I just suggest, thank you guys for your comments. Let's stick with it. Let's see how it goes here throughout the year. And Isabel, thank you for your efforts and continuing to keep us updated, and we'll go from there. So with that, that concludes our meeting. It is, we are adjourning this meeting. It is 7:17 p.m. Our next meeting will be Monday, June 10th in these chambers at 6 p.m. See you then. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, guys.